Question: are you creating or are you being created? Let's get into it. My name is Peter Abundant, aka Dr. Abundant, PhD, and ordained minister of metaphysical sciences, which is the study of spirituality. I'm also the author of The Enlightened Shadow and Spiritual, Not Religious. So this question is an interesting question that dawned on me, and I really wanted to present it to you to give you some insight, give you something to work with as you figure out life and figure out your journey, figure out purpose, figure out who you are. Now, the question is, are you created, right? Are you being created, or are you creating? Now, it's a question I often ask myself when it comes to a lot of things, particularly, say, social media. When most of us are scrolling through the social media apps, we are essentially we are consuming, right? When you're looking at TV, you are consuming. When you are maybe engaging with friends or at your job, you can either be consuming or you can either be giving, right? You can be providing something, a service. So you're either doing one or two things. You're either getting something, consuming something. In other words, you are being programmed by information, or you are being the person who is creating, who is actually contributing, who is actually giving and sharing insight and information to help somebody else essentially program themselves in alignment with what they desire, right? You're giving somebody a service, you're giving somebody insight, lecture, book, what have you. So to simplify this, really the question is, are you being impacted, influenced, or are you influencing? Are you providing or being an impact? Okay. Are you letting the universe dictate and give you information, right? Essentially dictate and tell you how to create your life and what it is you're supposed to do, like family often does, like society, your community often does, like religion often does, telling you what it is that you're supposed to do? Or are you in fact taking ownership of your life, of who you are, of your purpose, and actually dictating what and how you wish to be and exist in this world? Now, in many cases, we often fluctuate between one or the other. Most times in our younger life, we are consuming, we are being created, we are being shaped, we are being molded. Okay. Even when you get down to, religion and spirituality, the very essence of where we came from can be defined as being created, right? We were created by the Creator. But when I get further into a statement like that, thinking about being created by the Creator, then I get into, well, created to do what? Okay? Because everything has a purpose to it. We can observe that in nature. We can observe that in everything that we create. Why? Well, it gets into our very nature to, in fact, create. So we are created by the Creator to create. Okay? So if you are experiencing struggles in your life, challenges, if you're feeling unease, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling like things are just not feeling right, going well, and you're feeling like what's wrong, you're asking yourself what's wrong. The main thing is you are not aligning yourself with your nature to create. Now, you may have the question, then what am I supposed to create? That is your journey of discovery to take. You have to go down the path of experimentation, of self-awareness, of inquiry, wonder, curiosity, and discovery to figure out what are the things that in fact ignite that fire within you. What are the things that in fact allow you to be excited, to feel joy, to feel happiness, not only when it comes to fulfilling a goal, but actually going through the process of doing what it takes to get to that goal, meaning enjoying the journey as well as the destination. You see, because most of your time is spent in the journey, right? But we are constantly chasing that destination of success, of achievement. that we forget to recognize that most of our time is in the journey. And if you're not really enjoying the journey, chances are you're not going to get to the destination. So ultimately recognizing that your job here is to create. Your job here is to do. Your job is to recognize what it is that you do best and what it is that you love to do, instead of consuming things that other people love to do. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to ask yourself, how much time am I putting toward what it is that I love to do and love to share versus consuming what other people love to do and share? Also recognize that you have a thing called the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind houses all your memories. It also houses your programs, right? Things that cause you to react or do certain things a certain way, right? Or a certain pattern, a certain way of thinking. So when you consume and you constantly are imprinting this mindset, this pattern of consuming something, then that just simply makes you constantly want to consume, right? It creates a habitual state of consumption. And if that is not aligning with your nature, which it isn't, because your nature is to create, then you're going to feel a disconnection. This is why many people experience depression, anxiety, and things of that nature from consuming constantly things like social media, the TV, the news, right? It's because you're not doing what you're meant to do here. That feeling, those emotions of unease, the negative emotions are there to give you a clue. They're a sign telling you you're going in the right direction, the wrong direction. So you need to recorrect. You need to acknowledge that, okay, these negative feelings are telling me that I am going colder, further away from my purpose. But when you feel positive emotions, happiness, joy, excitement, that is indicating that you are getting closer, you're getting hotter to your actual purpose and reason for being here. So the question of, are you being created or are you creating, is one of recognizing that you are here to create, and your joy, your fulfillment is an indicator that you're actually here to do things, create things, express yourself, right? Life is a canvas that is meant for your expression, your art, right? That art form is called life. How are you contributing? How are you making an impact? How are you helping and supporting others? Chances are the stuff that is creating you, that you're consuming, is not in alignment with who you know yourself to be. Oftentimes we are consuming things that are more negative, right? That are not in alignment with peace, love, and happiness, but things that are aligned with negativity, gossip, the negative things that's going on in the world, politics. You want to be focused in on what it is that essentially creates joy and happiness for you. And I know it's easy to look at social media, to look at TV, right? Because it's just simply pressing a dial, a key on the remote, scrolling, but it doesn't actually fulfill you. Though you may get excited when you see something and it is interesting, it is exciting, it is funny. Once that is all said and done and you put that phone away, if you turn that TV off, then that feeling leaves you. And that's why we go back to the scrolling. That's why we go back to Netflix or whatever streaming service. So you have to recognize that, hey, what is it that I want? Do I want to be programmed, or do I want to provide the code in the program? Okay. Do I want to be programmed with somebody else's thoughts and beliefs? Or do I want to recognize the beautiful divine power within me and put out a beautiful message toward others to program that within them, right? Within them, program love, compassion, beauty, excitement. So that is the mission. That is the things that you really want to question. Are you being created or are you creating? And once you recognize that there is a misbalance, that the ratio is off, that you're not doing more, expressing yourself more, being more, and you're just sitting and consuming more than you're doing and being and sharing, then there's a misbalance, right? Things are off. One thing that I recommend, particularly with social media, because there are a lot of people that have profiles, but yet they don't share anything, right? They don't post anything. Before you post something, before you actually go on and actually look at social media, make sure you post something. Make sure you share something positive, something that is going to help and inspire somebody, make somebody's day. Don't get caught up in if it looks good or if your picture looks good or not. People don't really care. Just make sure you're sharing something positive with people. So that way people can begin to actually experience positivity most of the time when they're on social media rather than negativity. That will inspire people actually to create more positivity themselves. So be a creator. That is who you are. Create more, share more, let people know what you're up to, your thoughts. Let people know that you care about yourself, that you care about them. Because simply sharing something positive is a statement, is an affirmation that you do care. So create. Okay? Create. Don't allow anyone to create and implant belief systems that don't serve you. So you really have to just take responsibility and really have to practice self-awareness and ask yourself the question of, are you really, really aligning yourself properly with your purpose? The more you align yourself with your purpose, the more likely and the more quick that purpose will be fulfilled. So create, love, and share. Thank you so much. Feel free. Go to drabundant.com, subscribe to my daily newsletter, and get access to this free ebook, The Power Within. Continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.